I was just minding my own business, chilling in my apartment, scrolling through my phone to unwind from work. Out of nowhere, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Sarah, my best friend since forever. But this wasn't her usual chatty, random text. It was short and serious. "Call me. We need to talk." Sarah never calls unless it's a big deal. My stomach twisted a little as I hit the call button. When she picked up, her voice was shaky, not the confident, carefree Sarah I knew. "Are you sitting down?" she asked, her tone way too serious. I froze, my heart starting to race. "Yeah, I'm sitting," I said, bracing myself. Then she dropped the bomb. "I'm dating your dad." I thought I misheard her. No way this was real. My best friend? My dad? My brain couldn't process it. I laughed, thinking it was a joke, but the dead silence on the other end told me otherwise. This was no prank. She started explaining, and every word hit me like a punch. This wasn't some fling. There was a whole backstory, secrets she'd never shared. The more she talked, the more it felt like the ground was slipping out from under me. I was reeling, trying to make sense of it all. But it wasn't until the next day, when I overheard a conversation between her and my dad, that everything truly fell apart. The truth was worse than I could have imagined. It wasn't just that they were dating. My dad had left my mom. For her. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold the phone, my heart hammering like it was trying to break out of my chest. The room felt like it was spinning. My coffee mug still warm on the table, but I was ice cold inside. "Sarah, what the actual hell are you talking about?" I snapped, my voice cracking like glass. Sarah, my best friend since we were kids, the one who knew every dumb secret I ever had, was dating my dad? I couldn't wrap my head around it. She took this long, shaky breath, like she was about to confess to murder. "Okay, listen," she said, her voice all wobbly. "I've been seeing your dad for over a year. He didn't want you to know, said it'd hurt you too much." A year? A whole freaking year? My stomach twisted, bile rising in my throat. "A year?" I yelled. "You've been sneaking around with my dad for a year, and you didn't think to tell me?" But then she dropped the real bomb, and I swear my heart stopped. "At first, I got close to him to hurt you," she said, her words like a slap. "After that fight we had, when you ditched me for your fancy college friends, I was so pissed. I wanted you to feel what I felt. Left behind. Worthless." I froze, my brain flashing back to that stupid fight 3 years ago, when Sarah screamed that I'd abandoned her. "You planned this?" I shouted, my hands gripping the phone so hard my knuckles turned white. "You went after my dad to get back at me?" She tried to backtrack, her voice desperate. "It's not like that anymore. I fell for him, okay? I love him." Love? The word made me gag. My best friend, who I'd cried with over breakups, who knew I hated olives and loved cheesy rom-coms, was in love with my dad. I couldn't take it. "You're a liar," I spat, my voice shaking with rage. "You betrayed me, Sarah. You're dead to me." I hung up before she could say another word, collapsing onto my couch, my world crumbling like a house of cards. My best friend wasn't just gone. She'd been my enemy all along. I didn't sleep a wink, my brain stuck on Sarah's voice, her stupid "I love him" echoing like a bad song. By morning, I was a mess. My eyes burning, rain tapping my window like it was laughing at me. I had to call my dad. My fingers were numb as I dialed, my heart pounding so hard I thought I'd puke. He answered, all fake happy. "Hey, sweetie, what's up?" Like nothing was wrong. It made my blood boil. "Dad, how could you date Sarah and not tell me?" I snapped, my voice shaking like a leaf. There was this long, awful silence, like he'd been caught red-handed. Then he sighed, heavy, like he was unloading a secret. "I moved out 6 months ago," he said. "I'm living with Sarah now." My jaw hit the floor. 6 months? He'd been shacking up with my best friend for half a year, and I was clueless. But then he dropped the real bomb. "Your mom's known for months," he said, his voice cold, like he was reading a script. "She met Sarah, tried to talk her out of it, but we all agreed not to tell you." My mom knew? My chest went tight, like someone was squeezing my lungs. She'd sat across from Sarah, my backstabbing best friend, and decided to keep me in the dark? "You both lied to me?" I yelled, my hands shaking so bad I nearly dropped the phone. "We didn't want to upset you," he said, like that made it okay. Upset me? My whole family was a lie, and I was the idiot left out of the loop. I could hear him breathing, waiting for me to say something, but my brain was screaming. "I can't deal with you right now," I said, my voice breaking. I hung up, collapsing onto my bed, the room spinning like a bad dream. Rain kept pounding outside, matching the chaos in my head. My dad was gone, my mom was in on it, and I was completely alone, betrayed by everyone I trusted. I stormed over to Mom's place, my head pounding like a drum, my hands still shaking from Dad's call. The kitchen smelled like burnt toast, and Mom was there, her eyes red and hollow, like she hadn't slept in days. She was pouring coffee, but her hands were trembling so bad it spilled on the counter. "Why didn't you tell me about Dad and Sarah?" I demanded, my voice cracking like I was about to cry. I didn't even sit down, just stood there, staring her down. She sighed, heavy, like the weight of the world was on her. "I wanted to protect you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Protect me? From what? My whole life falling apart?" "I knew about them for months," she admitted, looking at the floor. "I met Sarah at a diner, begged her to stop seeing him, but she wouldn't listen." My jaw dropped. My mom, the one who always had my back, had sat across from my backstabbing best friend and kept it from me? "You knew and didn't tell me?" I yelled, my chest so tight I could barely breathe. But then she hit me with something worse, and I swear the room started spinning. "I wasn't perfect either," she said, her voice breaking. "When you were 7, I had an affair. Your dad was always gone, working late, ignoring us. I was so lonely, I didn't know what else to do." I staggered back, my legs weak like they'd give out. My mom, the one who baked cookies for my school plays, had cheated? "When he found out, I broke," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I took too many pills, tried to end it all. Your dad found me, saved me. We stayed together for you, to keep your world intact." My mom tried to die? I just stared at her, my childhood memories twisting into something dark and ugly. The happy family dinners, the bedtime stories, it was all a lie? "You both lied to me my whole life?" I asked, my voice shaking with rage and hurt. She nodded, her hands clutching the coffee mug like it was her lifeline. I couldn't look at her anymore. My brain was screaming, my heart breaking. "I need to go," I said, turning away, my eyes burning with tears I didn't want her to see. I walked out, the door slamming behind me, leaving her standing there alone. My whole world was crumbling, and I didn't know who I was anymore. I couldn't stay in my apartment, the walls closing in after Mom's bombshell about her affair. So I went to our old place. Sarah and I were roommates before she bailed, to grab some stuff I'd left behind. The air smelled stale, like forgotten memories, and her room was a mess, clothes everywhere. Under a pile of her hoodies, I found this battered journal, its cover frayed like it had been through hell. I shouldn't have opened it, but my hands moved on their own, my heart pounding like a drum. It was like reading a horror novel starring me. Sarah wrote about hating me, how my perfect family made her feel like trash. "She's got everything. Parents who care, a future handed to her," she wrote. My stomach churned. But then it got worse. She admitted she'd sabotaged me for years. That scholarship I lost in college? She leaked my application to a rival, made sure I'd fail. Those rumors in high school that cost me half my friends? Sarah started them. whispering lies that I was fake, a liar. "She doesn't deserve to win," she wrote, the words burning into my brain like acid. I sank to the floor, pages scattered around me like a crime scene. My hands shook as I read how she'd laughed when I cried over that scholarship, knowing she'd caused it. Every memory with Sarah, late night talks, road trips, her cheering me on, was a lie. She did what? My best friend, the one who knew I hated olives and loved cheesy rom-coms, had been plotting against me? I wanted to scream, to tear the pages apart, to make this stop. My heart was racing, my chest so tight I could barely breathe. How could I have been so blind? All those times she hugged me, said she had my back, she was playing me. I thought back to high school, how I'd lost friends, how I'd blamed myself. And that scholarship? I'd worked so hard, only to crash and burn. Sarah wasn't just a friend who messed up. She was my enemy, hiding in plain sight. I shoved the journal in my bag, my hands trembling like I'd been shocked. I had to confront her, face to face, no more phone calls. This wasn't just about her and Dad anymore. This was about years of betrayal, and I needed answers, even if they broke me all over again. I texted Sarah to meet me at this quiet coffee shop, my hands still trembling from her journal's poison. The place smelled like burnt espresso, and I sat in a corner booth, the journal heavy in my bag like a bomb. Sarah walked in, looking like she hadn't slept in weeks, her eyes puffy, hair a tangled mess. I didn't waste time. I slammed the journal on the table, my voice low but shaking. "Explain this," I said, pointing at her scrawled confessions. "You ruined my life for years?" She broke down, tears streaming down her face. "I was jealous," she sobbed. "You had this perfect family, and mine was a wreck. I leaked your scholarship application, spread those rumors in high school. I hated how easy your life looked." My stomach churned. She did what? The scholarship I cried over for months, the friends who ditched me. She caused it all? I wanted to scream, to throw my coffee at her, but I just sat there, my hands gripping the table, my knuckles white. Then she hit me with something worse, and I swear my heart stopped. "Your dad's moving to Colorado with me," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "He's done with this family, wants a fresh start." My chest went tight, like someone was crushing it. Done with me? But she wasn't finished. "He transferred most of your family's savings to a new account," she said. "Your mom's basically broke." I froze, my brain screaming. He stole our money? My dad, who taught me to tie my shoes, was robbing us to run off with my best friend? "You're stealing my family," I yelled, my voice echoing in the shop, heads turning. Sarah tried to explain, saying she didn't want this, that she felt trapped, but I couldn't hear it. "You betrayed me, Sarah," I said, my voice shaking with rage. "You took everything, my friends, my future, now my dad?" She reached for my hand, but I yanked it back, my coffee sitting untouched, steam rising like my anger. "Stay the hell away from me," I spat, grabbing my bag and storming out. My heart was shattering with every step, the world blurring through tears. I had to confront Dad, but first I needed to breathe, to survive this betrayal that kept cutting deeper. Grandma's idea of a family dinner to sort things out was a disaster waiting to happen. We were all crammed around her dining table, me, Mom, Dad, Sarah, and Grandma, the air so thick with tension it felt like a storm was brewing. The table was shaking from Mom's angry gestures as she screamed at Dad, "You stole our savings, you selfish jerk!" Dad fired back, his face red. "You drove me away with your affair! Don't play the victim!" Sarah, sitting there like a deer in headlights, tried to mumble an apology, but Mom cut her off, pointing at the door. "Get out of my house, you homewrecker!" she yelled, her voice cracking like glass. I was about to lose it, my hands gripping my fork so hard my knuckles turned white. The pie Grandma made sat untouched, mocking us. I stood up, my chair scraping the floor. "Stop it!" I shouted, my voice shaking. "You're all tearing me apart, and I'm done!" But then Grandma, Sweet little Grandma, who never raised her voice, stood up, her eyes sharp like a knife. "Enough!" she snapped, and the room went dead silent, like a bomb had gone off. Then she dropped the real bomb. "I knew about Sarah from the start," she said, her voice cold. "I introduced her to your dad. I told him to leave your mom because she was never good enough for him." I froze. Grandma did what? My heart stopped, the room spinning like a nightmare. "You set this up?" I whispered, my voice barely audible. She nodded, unapologetic. "Your parents' fighting was tearing us apart. I thought Sarah would save him, save us." "Save us? By breaking my family?" I stared at her, at all of them. Mom's face pale, Dad's jaw clenched, Sarah's eyes on the floor. "You all used me!" I screamed, tears burning my eyes. "You lied, schemed, and made me the idiot in your twisted game." The table was silent, forks frozen, the air heavy like a funeral. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. "I'm done with all of you," I said, my voice breaking as I grabbed my coat. I stormed out, the door slamming behind me, my heart shattering with every step. The night air hit my face, cold and sharp, but it couldn't numb the pain. My entire family was a conspiracy, and I was the collateral damage, left to pick up the pieces of their lies. Mom showed up at my apartment the next morning, her eyes swollen like she'd cried all night. The air smelled of rain, and she stood in my doorway, hands raw from nervous picking, looking like a ghost. "I'm so sorry," she said, her voice breaking as she stepped inside. I didn't move, just sat on the couch, my heart heavy like a stone. She sat across from me, spilling everything. How Dad's transfer of our savings left her drowning in debt, how she'd begged Sarah to leave him, even offered her money. "She refused," Mom whispered, tears falling. "She said she loved him." I wanted to scream, but my throat was tight. My mom, who'd held me through every heartbreak, was falling apart, and I couldn't fix it. "I love you, Mom," I said finally, my voice shaky. "But I can't be your anchor anymore. I'll help you, but I need space." She nodded, her hands trembling, and hugged me. For once, I didn't pull away, but it felt like hugging a stranger, like we were starting over from nothing. Later, I texted Dad, my fingers shaking. "You chose Sarah over us. You stole from Mom. If you leave, I'm not chasing you." No reply, and I didn't care. I blocked Sarah's number, deleted her from my life, every text, every photo, gone. It was like ripping out a piece of my heart, but also like I could finally breathe. I wasn't their pawn anymore. I was choosing myself, even if it hurt like hell. The apartment was quiet, just the hum of the fridge, but it felt different, like I was taking back control for the first time. I'm curled up on my couch, eating ice cream straight from the tub, the TV blaring some dumb reality show. My roommate's here, spoon clinking, keeping me grounded. My family's a wreck. Dad's probably packing for Colorado, Mom's fighting debt, Sarah's gone, and Grandma's texting, "Family is forever" memes I'm ignoring. These weeks have been a tornado of lies. Sarah's betrayal, Mom's secrets, Dad's theft, Grandma's scheming. I'm still standing, barely. But here's the thing. I'm not their pawn anymore. I don't know who my family is, but I'm figuring out who I am. I'm done carrying their drama. Thanks for listening, internet strangers. If your best friend ever stole your dad or your family imploded, how do you keep going? I'm winging it, one bite of Rocky Road at a time.